Hey, so I've been participating in this really cool thing called the BGG, so Board Game Geek Secret Santa gift exchange for 2018. So if you're not familiar with what that is, I'm going to tell you about it here in a second. But the reason I'm making this video is because I actually got a package in from my Secret Santa. So what it all is, and then we're going to end with the package. What it all is it's an opportunity for you to connect with people in the Board Game Geek community anonymously with a set of expectations. Those expectations are that if you're a Santa, that you are going to be sending out a game or games, multiple games, with a price point of $50 total as a minimum. That can include your shipping and taxes and things like that. And what you have to do is you send it to your target. So you actually get assigned a target, similar to like Assassin type things, except this one's all positive. You get assigned your target, and then after you pay for your games and things like that, you send in to Octavian and the other mods on BGG who are overseeing this an actual like proof that you paid that amount. So that way they're holding up the system and the integrity of it, which is really cool. So as a regular participant, you are both a Santa, so giving the gifts, but you're also a target, a Santee, receiving the gifts, which is really cool. And so I'm going to be receiving things with the same expectation, but where my Santa is in the world can be anywhere. I happen to know where my Santa is this year, which is kind of cool. But let me talk to you about last year's experience. So last year's experience was my first time, and what happened was my Santa went on my BGG profile, because of course they get like your username and things like that for Board Game Geek. And my Santa was like, hey, I see you have these games in your collection. However, it actually doesn't show how often you play any of them or what things you've even gotten to the table. So I don't know what games in there you like, because I do have a wide portfolio. And so I actually hadn't ever done tracking of my plays before. And so my Santa encouraged me and told me the apps to go through this anonymous email server that they also set up on BGG, which is cool. And then also my Santa's like, I want to get to know a little bit more about you. And so asked for like, can you write like a letter to Santa? This wasn't creepy or anything like that. It was like just truly wanting to connect within the hobby. And then what's really sweet was like after sharing information and really getting to know my Santa a little bit and putting myself out there, talking about myself, my gamer habits, my background, as well as my wife and meeting in a toy store. Yes, for those of you who don't yet know yet, my wife and I met in the toy store in the Lego aisle, hence the Legos that are over there. And also we have a ton of minifigures over there. It was actually minifigures that brought us together. That all being said, I got a bunch of games from my Santa. I actually got Blood Rage from my Santa, and I got a cryptid message that was all speaking about Norse mythology as soon as my Santa had sent it. It was really cool. But then I also received, my Santa sent us games for my wife and I to enjoy that my Santa enjoys playing with his wife, his significant other, as a 2-player game, and that is Castle of Burgundy, because he's like, I can't believe you've never played this and you haven't ever seen it or anything like that, because actually I didn't know about it at the time. But then he also sent, this is super adorable, sent a game for our dog. The game's called Agility. It's got a golden retriever running, which I have a golden, essentially miniature dachshund, who looks like a golden retriever, but small, tiny, about this big. And so that was just really cool. Like he customized the gifts to different members of the family, which was cool. My target that I had, my Santee, was actually somebody in West Texas. I sent them a message, never heard anything. They weren't as active on BGG. Sent them Geek Gold anonymously, because you can do that too. So that way they can enhance their profile, which they did. They put like an avatar and stuff, which is cool. But it was just, I sent them the things, and I hope that they are enjoying them. I matched kind of what my Santa did for me, which was really cool, to be able to do that for somebody else. And so absolutely I was going to participate this year as well. So this year's experience, super different, but some parallels. So first of all, my target. So my target I had last year, again, West Texas. I am in College Station, Texas, so not that far away, given this. It's been a crazy week this week with the Bush funeral and stuff. It's been really, really cool to be a part of that, though. But my target this year is not in the United States. So it's not just limited to the United States. You can choose to be an international Santa. You can actually choose to just be a Santa and just give gifts to people, which is cool. But I wanted to be part of the whole process. So my target is not in the United States. My target's in Chile. And just in case they're watching this, I don't want to say where in Chile. They're a non-English fluent speaker, which is completely fine. I sent them a message, did get a message back, but it took a couple days, and they said because they really wanted to go through and decipher essentially the English I had sent them and spend the time and consideration to craft a letter to themselves in English, and were very apologetic, and like they didn't need to be apologetic at all. Like I wasn't speaking their language. But what's cool is I actually reached out to Octavian, who I've already mentioned. That's the username for one of the admins, and they connected me with some people around the world, and I reached out and actually have somebody who's going to start translating messages for me from English into Spanish that I'll then copy, send to my target. My target's going to be able to respond in their native language, and then my translator person in the community is going to translate them back to English for me. Just short messages, just to connect. I think that's really cool and shows how, like, these are complete strangers to me. I've never met these people in life. So that's cool. My Santa went on, and this year it was not about my tracking. It was more about my rating of games. I haven't really rated many games in my profile, and when I did, it's been like a couple of years, so I'm focusing on more logging plays. And so my Santa called me out for that. And that's fine. It was actually pretty cool and pretty funny. But we've actually been able to connect in a very different way. So we started out with some messages, but then actually I got a YouTube link one time a couple weeks ago, and it was actually a YouTube like vlog from my Santa on a private channel to me, which is like so different to get to put a face to everything. It's really cool. And so him and I know it's a him, have been sending message back and forth to each other, like about our collections, about our passions, about other things that we also do. And actually one of the cool things is, part of what started that is I have a New York Yankees micro badge in my BGG portfolio, and he is a huge Yankees fan, although he lives in Philly and never grew up really in New York, but huge Yankees fan. And he gave me a video tour of his game room, which has a ton of Yankee stuff, which is really cool. And so we've been able to connect over that. And so if you have the means, I do encourage you to be part of the BGG Secret Santa next year. I know there's other ones too, like there's a Reddit one and things like that. But given I'd only done it once, I didn't want to do a PSA about it until like I was in this one and seeing how it's going. And I can just confirm now this has been 2 wonderful experiences. And this is the package that I got. I don't know if this is the end-all be-all of packages, so I might be making more videos of this. But it's just pretty cool. Okay, so let's open the package. It's pretty huge. It takes up like the whole screen, and so I have no idea what's in here. I've gotten no hints, no nothing, except that it's something that he believes also, because we talked about my wife and our play styles, that he believes that like she'll also like to get to the table. So let's see. What's cool is you do put on your BGG profile, you have a wish list, and then you can actually mark things as must have, love to have, would like to have, or like don't buy this. Like just so that way you can keep track of things for yourself. And so that's the system they usually use. But I have no idea if this is on book or not, because only one of my games last year was in my list. But again, it was an incredible experience last year. Okay, let's see. Ooh, nice. There's not just one game. There are multiple games, and it's super freaking awesome. Okay, so besides board games, I also play D&D, and Monster of the Week, if you've ever played that one. If you haven't, check it out. It's from Plaid Hat Games. But Wizards of the Coast, D&D, love it. Dungeon Master, but I also have a Elf Ranger that I play as. But I've been wanting to get a game for a while now that has been on my list. Was never able to play the first one. My wife had and loved it. She played it on a cruise actually, but been wanting this one since they came out with it, because it streamlined a lot of the game, offered a lot of new mechanics, and I can also introduce my role-playing gamers to this game. So I'm real excited about this. That is Betrayal at Baldur's Gate. I know it's been out for a couple years. It just hasn't been one of those things that's been an option for me. And so real excited about this. The game is you go around and at some point during the game, one person, multiple people, or several people, teams of people might have new objectives or a haunt start, site, that type of thing. And it changes the dynamic from being like cooperative to competitive or continue to be cooperative. So there's like 50 different potential outcomes, which are really, really cool, really immersive, like storytelling game that leaves you with stories. That's just awesome. Thank you, Santa. But like I said, there's not just one thing. There's multiple things in here. And I'm excited about, ooh, what is this? Also included a promo for Betrayal at Baldur's Gate. And just some good tips. Never split the party. Just don't do that. But that's not the only thing in here. This is a game I actually got to play. I've wanted to play it for a while. I know my wife's going to love it because she loves this style game. She loves absolutely pretty games as well. If it's pretty, she'll get it to the table easily. But also, if it's a good streamlined game that's just a nice way to spend a night, it's done. Perfect. And so I played this game once, and the second I played it, I fell in love with it. And that is Sagrada. Sagrada, based off of, well, it's abstracted, but Sagrada being based off of essentially making glass panes to go in the Sagrada Familia, which is in Barcelona, Spain. It's one of the major cathedrals around the world. It's actually just getting finished. But what's really nice about this, you roll dice, and then everybody has a common pool of dice that they're then selecting a die from. But it's a gorgeous game. It was originally kickstarted, but actually who I played this game with when I first played it is with a friend of mine. Her name's Fox, and Fox is actually what she does for a living is make stained glass for churches. And so she wrote this big post on Sagrada about connecting the actual things you do in the game and the mechanics of the tools and things like that, and relaying that actually with her given professional experience, which is sweet. So check that out on BGG. But thank you, Santa. I know this is getting played tonight, like not even a question. My wife's gonna love it. I'm gonna love it. So thank you so much. Before I quick wrap, I just want to say that like this is one of those examples of being really in a cool hobby, and the fact that we get to do these kind of things and get to create these moments for other people, and that you were all able to be here for that. That's pretty cool. So I encourage you. It's about 2 weeks till Christmas. Whether you celebrate Christmas, don't celebrate anything. If you celebrate Hanukkah, etc. Just we're at the end of the year, and it's just one of those times of it can be a little tighter for some people, but one of those things of like, let's just connect with the hobby. And that's why I end every video with go have a positive impact on the world, because I think through gaming we can really do that. And so thank you, Santa, for having a positive impact here. I know this is going to get a lot of play and a lot of fun and bring a lot of joy, but I encourage all of you to do the same in whatever way you can. But have a wonderful rest of your weekend, and I'll talk to you later.